Modern cars are technological marvels, faster, smarter, and more efficient with every generation. But somewhere along the evolutionary path, perhaps we lost our way. Cars became less about feel and more about figures, horsepower, 0 to 60s, Nürburgring times. We built computers on wheels and called it progress. But what if that vision of progress is completely wrong? What if, in order to move forward, you actually have to look back? This is Theon Design, a British-based restomod company that prides itself on creating the best modern recreations of the 964. They take these precious relics of the past, built between 1988 and 1994, and meticulously rebuild them for today. Here, they don't obsess about constantly reinventing everything, but rather on perfecting the things that truly matter. Before we go any further, a tiny detour. If your car feels underpowered, if the gadgets are running on fumes, and if it's not giving you even half the buzz that this Theon Design 911 does, maybe it's time to switch lanes. Maybe it's time for an upgrade. Maybe it's time for Autotrader. Anyway, back on the gas.
Let me tell you something. I'm a man who I like to think has his priorities in order. When somebody gives you the keys to a Porsche 964, you take those keys. You don't stop to look around the car. You get in that car and you drive. Woo! Nowadays, cars have evolved to be more about figures instead of feel. They're more about numbers instead of nuance. So you know what I'm gonna do right now? I'm gonna take a minute to just feel. Third gear. Oh, listen to it build. Fourth. Come on. That noise is just glorious. It's a mechanical symphony. I'm feeling it. I am really feeling it. And if you're anything like me, I know you're feeling it too.
So, some background on the company behind this creation. Theon specializes in building privately commissioned cars, all based on the restorer's favorite, the Porsche 964. Cars start life with a donor vehicle that's stripped and fettled, every detail meticulously hand-restored, every fault repaired, every quirk modernized or fixed, every opportunity for sympathetic improvement taken. The exteriors are largely faithful to what came before, with subtle improvements in the bodywork front to rear and in the components such as wheels, lights, exhausts, and even in the engine. The interiors are given a makeover too, with upgraded leather and new technology. Theon calls it OEM Plus, keeping the soul of the car intact while making improvements that make them feel special yet usable every day. But all of these changes come with a hefty price tag.
This particular example is an eye-watering £750,000, which of course begs the question, why? It's just an old 911. But don't forget, this is no ordinary old 911. This is a Theon Design 911. That means it has plenty of modifications that probably justify that outlay. Let's start with the bodywork. You have a choice of either steel or carbon fiber. If you go for steel, they'll delicately reprofile the shape of the front and rear wheel arches to a slightly more muscular design. If you opt for carbon fiber, as is the case on this particular car, they'll replace the front and rear wing completely with carbon fiber and also give you a carbon fiber bonnet with this indented Porsche crest. There's also a carbon fiber front bumper with a custom design, and also this particular detail down here. This is a front splitter, also available in carbon fibre and not an original item that you'll find on the 964. This is quite an interesting detail as well. This side light is an original design by Theon, and they didn't like the original side light because they felt it was a bit too bulky and reduced the bodywork gap between the main headlight and the side light. So by slimming this down by 10 millimeters, they've increased that little bit of bodywork to give it that proportion that they appreciate. Oh, these headlights are new as well. And the nice thing about these is they actually work.
The body shape is familiar, but sharper, leaner, as if it's been distilled to its essence. The radius of the wheel arches has been modified simply to create a more appealing shape. The door mirrors take inspiration from the 991 Speedster concept. The doors are steel for side protection. The bright work around the windows and door handles is offered in a finish of your choice, whilst the wheels are Fuchs-style 3-piece split rims riding on adjustable Multimatic suspension.
As for the back, glorious to look at, isn't it? Probably my favorite angle on this car. You can get it with a choice of spoiler, either this delicate little unit here or more substantial ducktail spoiler. And look at this detail just here. This metal across the back just looks absolutely phenomenal. Gives you a little glance of the magic that happens inside the engine bay. More on that in just a second. We've also got twin exhausts with equal length headers for better sound, and also they look really cool. Plus up here we've got a high level brake light. This wasn't an item that you found on the original 964, but Theon Design have managed to incorporate it to give you slightly more safety as you're driving around surrounded by SUVs. That incidentally was actually a one-way pressure release system which allowed you to easily close the door without the door getting stuck, but they've managed to double up as a high level brake light. Very, very clever.
This is where the magic happens. You don't normally get to see the engine bay of a Porsche 911, they're usually hidden away, but Theon has made a point of ensuring this is a real centerpiece on their car. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is art. Air-cooled, horizontally opposed, dry sump lubricated, rear-mounted goodness.
The standard engine is a 3.6 litre, but you can upgrade that to a 3.8 or even, as you find here, a 4 litre engine pushing out over 400 horsepower. If you'd like to go even crazier, you can of course get forced induction and have a supercharger bolted on top. Speaking of what's on top, in this case, we are naturally aspirated, but the customer has a choice of either a plenum chamber, as is fitted to this car, or trumpets. They make no difference in terms of performance, it's more an aesthetic thing. But for me, both solutions look absolutely amazing. And speaking of looking amazing, the detail in this engine bay is something else. You've got this carbon all over the top of it, which looks fantastic. You've got leather around the back, leather just in there as well. We've got individual throttle bodies. The thing just looks like an absolute work of art. I don't know whether to look at it, drive it, or lick it. It's just beautiful, isn't it?
Where have all the ancillaries gone? We'll get to that in a moment, but first look under the bonnet. It's stunning. Carbon fibre optionally, and how clean is this luggage bay? Leather finished, carbon at the sides, and bracing between the suspension turrets. Those ancillaries, the aircon, power steering pump, ABS unit, all live under the floor, bringing the weight forward and cleaning up the engine bay.
Inside the Theon, it's a 911 964, but at the same time, not. It's kind of a weird contradiction of new meets old, but in a really good way. One thing I love about it is the fact that it isn't dominated by screens. It's all analog, it's all gauges. Look at this very familiar array of gauges up here on the dashboard. Very, very Porsche 911. The detail in here is fantastic as well. We've got green lettering and it looks fantastic. On the subject of the green lettering, the dashboard is finished in leather, but with green stitching, which matches the lettering and also the color of this car as well. Same goes for the seats. These are Recaros. We've got a bit of leather. We've got this contrasting stitching with the carbon fiber on the back. Carbon fiber is everywhere, by the way. You've got carbon on the center console, which has 2 cup holders. That's nice. We've got carbon even hidden away on the armrests here, even though they're covered in suede and leather, that's still carbon fiber. And there's carbon on the door sills. But then beyond that, Theon have gone the extra mile to make sure that a lot of these cars' touch points are the best they can be. And I'll highlight what I mean by that. So on the center console, you've got these buttons, which are not plastic and cheap like you found on the original 964. These are aluminium, and they look and feel a damn sight better than they did on the original car. This one here deploys your rear spoiler. So if I turn that, the spoiler will actually deploy, and it looks so cool in the rear view mirror. We've got this, which is a nose lift. We've got that for your exhaust, which makes it louder or quieter depending on how you feel. We've got an updated air conditioning system, which looks and feels a bit better than it did before. Backlit, so you can see exactly what you're doing. As for the steering wheel, they give you a choice of either a 991 generation wheel, as is the case here, or you can opt for an aftermarket steering wheel. I think this looks really cool, very, very OEM plus. And it's just a really, really nice place to spend time. One of my favorite features though is definitely this center console, which has a magnetic phone holder. So you put your phone there and it kind of magnets to this holder and wirelessly charges your phone, which is something you definitely didn't get on the old 964, but is a very welcome addition for an up-to-date modern vehicle. Very cool. So what's it like to jump behind the wheel of a Theon 911? Do you know what? When I first got in this thing, I really expected it to feel a bit old. I mean, it is old, right? But the truth is, it doesn't feel old. It feels like a new car. Notice I didn't say it feels like a modern car. It doesn't feel like a brand new Porsche 911 or any kind of really up-to-date sports car. But it still feels as if everything is quite fresh. The suspension isn't knocking, there aren't any weird noises going on. This feels like a really well put together car. The driving position is something you gotta get used to. It is a 964 and it's got that kind of characteristic driving position where you are sat off to the right of the car, the steering wheel is offset to the left. It's nothing Theon have done, that's just how the car's designed, particularly when it's a right-hand drive. You feel like you're kind of riding side saddle almost. To Theon's credit, they've actually tried to adjust for it to bring it more in line with your body. Yeah, but it's still an old car in that regard. The pedal box is quite good though, decent spacing between the clutch, the brake, and the accelerator. I'm actually driving bare feet at the moment because I'm wearing quite bulky shoes. So if you're the kind of person that likes to walk around in Nike Air Jordans, which are a bit oversized, then you might struggle with these pedals. But if you like to wear racing shoes, then yeah, no problem whatsoever. You'll be able to heel and toe with the best of them. The next thing you're going to notice about driving a Theon 911 is, of course, the noise. Oh, it's sumptuous. It really is. And there are two levels to the exhaust as well. It's got a switch inside it right now. This is the noisy mode. And I'll demonstrate the quiet mode for you. Believe me, it is quieter. It might not be coming across on camera, but when you're driving around town, you'll want to be in quiet mode, because when you're driving around at full chat, believe me, this is a loud car in a good way. Gearbox is interesting. As standard, you get the original 964 box. It's a 5-speed unit, and for the most part, it's pretty good. It's not the greatest box in the world. I might complain about the fact that the throw's quite long, so the distance between gears physically is a little too far apart for my liking. Except weirdly, the distance between first gear and reverse gear, they are that close together. What it means is that you've got to be ultra precise when putting this car into what you think is first gear, because you might actually be in reverse, and that, yeah, that could be bad news. I'm really impressed with the ride of this car. Theon will happily set this car up with a racy setup if you're the kind of person that is thinking of taking it on a racetrack, for example, of a weekend, or maybe you're the kind of person who likes to use it more as a GT. If that's the case, they'll give it a slightly softer setup for you to make it more of a usable daily. The owner of this particular car has definitely gone for more of a GT vibe, and I think that's a great shout. That means that this is a car you can jump into and use anytime you want, and it feels absolutely fantastic. It is perfect, not necessarily as a daily, but as a car you can jump into more often than you might think. It's a really fun car to chuck about as well. It responds so well in the corners. Body control is excellent, particularly when you firm up the suspension. So as you thread it through a sequence of bends, it stays nice and composed. Grip, absolutely Oh, I nearly killed a bird there. He nearly got murdered by a £750,000 911. But like I was saying, the grip, absolutely magnificent. We're using modern tyres here, Michelin Pilot Sport 4S, and it just instills you with the confidence you need to throw it into a corner and know that it's going to stick. Forget the money though, forget the cost, because it only takes a couple of minutes of driving this car to realize that it is worth every penny. If you can afford it, of course, because honestly, every sound, every smell, the oil, the petrol, it's all there mixing in your lungs. It really is a beautiful cocktail of sensations and emotions that you feel when you drive this car. And if I could bottle it, I would, honestly. It's a lot of money for it, but I can really see why people out there who have the cash will happily indulge in something like this, because most modern cars, they don't give you this feeling. Theon's 911 doesn't chase power, it doesn't chase technology, it chases something we forgot we needed. It chases purpose. But then it hits you and you remember that this particular experience doesn't come cheap. Far from it, in fact. £750,000 in this case. And that to me is slightly sad, because it's an experience that most of us will never have.
But for those privileged few who value connection over convenience and pleasure over practicality, this is everything. More than a car, it's a reminder of what we lost in the pursuit of progress and what it still feels like to be alive behind the wheel.